Don't point that thing at me!
Hey, what's up guys? Back with the other video I promised you guys. Today we're doing the oil change on the Honda TRX125 from 1985. The first Honda TRX four-wheeler they ever made. The first of its kind. And this was like one of the ringleaders for four-wheelers. The TRX series in 1985 went from three-wheeler to four-wheeler. They still made three-wheelers, I believe, but they were starting to go over to four-wheelers, and thank God they did. I like their four-wheelers, they're nice. Alright, so first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to unscrew this. Now another thing, if you had a battery hooked up, it would be easier if you had a battery hooked up. You could start it, run it for a little bit, get the oil all, warmed up so it would drain easier. But all we have is a pull start right now, because the battery isn't wired up. That's an attempt to wire up a battery I did with our old dirt bike. Remember that? The electric one? The beginning? It didn't work. It's just, it wasn't charged and it didn't have enough power. So I ordered the right battery, doing it the right way for once. I'm just kidding. I always do it the right way. But the not as cheap way. And if I charged the battery, it probably would have been fine. But anyway, next thing you want to do, you're going to want to, there's two bolts under here. Let me show you. There's a bolt there and a bolt that's pointed that way. This one's a size 17. This one is the one you want. This one over here, you don't want to, when you're doing the oil change, do not touch that bolt. Just this one, okay? So what you're going to do is you're going to take a size 17 socket, like so. I have this, in this video I went and grabbed my good tools for this. This is a Stanley. Nice socket set, love it. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to tip it down like that. Here, so I'm going to put the socket under there. I'm just going to loosen it. It's probably got a lot of torque on it. There we go. So we're loose. Now, you can get it by hand from this point, and be careful. It's gonna spray oil out, or it should. Yep, there it is. And as you see, the oil is coming out. You need this. Looks like the oil seal. Let me inspect the oil seal washer. It's in good condition, so you can reuse it. If it's a rubber washer, I advise you to replace it. Make sure if you have a rubber washer, replace it. If you have a metal one and it's in good condition, it's not bent too much, or if it's not bent at all, you should be good. But if it is bent or in bad condition, which I don't see how it could unless you over-torqued it, which you really just get it tight to where the oil doesn't spill out. I mean, you don't have to torque it, even though you're technically supposed to torque it to a certain amount. I never really do, because it doesn't matter too much. Just don't over torque it and you'll be completely fine, I promise you. So anyway, you just want the oil to drain all the way out, and once it does, we'll go to the next step. As you see, let me show you the oil sealing washer. This is it. It's got a side that's indented and a side that has a little lip. You want the lip to go out, and you want the indented side to go towards the screw, because what it does is it goes around the screw. If I can get it on there, it wraps pretty much around this little circle around the bolt, and then this goes up into there a little bit. So you pretty much make sure you do it in that direction, and that's probably about all the oil it has. You want to shake it around, and I'm going to let it drip for a little bit, get all the oil out, and I'll see you guys in a minute. Alright, Turbo Nation, I'm back. So what I did is I let it drip, and when it finally dripped all the way down, it stopped dripping. that's when you're pretty much good. I tipped it both ways, shook it, and I even shined a flashlight in there into this hole, the spot where you're going to fill the oil into. And it is empty. There's, of course, a couple drips. Those are obviously on the actual drain area, so we could wipe that a little bit, and it should soak up all the excess. And that's what the drips were. So once you get all that done, I mean, once it's getting to a drip like this, and your engine's running okay to begin with, it's going to be okay if you just take if it's just dripping, and this pan's pretty much filled up with 1 liter of oil, which is about what this takes. It takes 1.1 liter, but of course it's going to burn through oil, so you're not going to get a full 1.1 liters out of it. And I don't know how long the oil's been in there, but it ran fine with it. So I have good confidence that if I were to put this bolt back on now, we'd be good. Alright, so we're going to put this bolt in there, and remember it's size 17. And once it's all drained out, and if you have a battery or it's warmed up, what you do want to do before you go to drain it is warm it up if you are able to. I know sometimes you can't, like I wasn't, because we don't have a battery, and I can't move it out of the garage right now to start it and then warm it up. So, and we need this oil change in there. So you should tighten up the bolt hand tight, and then you take your wrench, tighten it up a little more, get a nice torque on it, but not too much where you bend the oil sealing bolt. And when it's nice and tight and you can visually see pressure, which you'll know what I'm talking about when you go to do it, that's when you're good. So you're going to want to take something like this. It's a funnel, my bad, with a tube on it. You're going to want to put the tube in here, just like so. And if I were to put the oil filter on, which I'm going to do next time I do an oil change, it's a separate video for that. This, because the kit I bought came with 2 liters, so this is just one of them, which is for one oil change, and an oil filter. So the oil filter on this is in decent enough condition where it can wait another oil change. So I'll save this for the next oil change, make another video. So anyway, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to take your oil, and you're just going to want to dump it in there. Make sure to dump only like 1 liter, 1.1 liters, you know. So let me just get that out of the bag real quick. I just ripped the bag instead of trying to open that little top because it wasn't really on there that well. Check what you got. It's a quart, which is what you're looking for. So you're going to want to dump one of these in there. I recommend 20W50, but I was going with Honda's GN4, and the kit for this four-wheeler was 10W40. So that'll also work, but I do use 20W50 in my dirt bike, and I would use it in the four-wheeler, but of course the kit didn't have that. So in the future I probably will use that. Okay, this just fell off. Nice job, GoPro. Anyway, in the future, I most likely will have 20W50 instead of 10W40, which this comes with in the kit. Anyway, you're just going to want to open up the oil, and there should be a sealing tab, okay, but this one doesn't, because it has, like, the water bottle has, the little, tab there, as you can see, this tab. So it's sealed, and then you're just gonna take it, and look at the difference in color. That is pure black, and this is golden, champagne color-ish. You're gonna want to hold this up. So here, put in a little bit. I'll show you what I'm doing. This will stay on the back. So you're gonna hold it up. Hold it out a little more, and just slowly do it. Put the whole entire quart/liter in. Takes 1.2 quarts, and I think 1.1 liter, something like that. So this whole thing is what it's going to need. So you're just going to fill it up. It's going to run way better once it works itself in. If you guys remember watching the before versus after video for my dirt bike for the oil change, which I didn't do a video on the oil change, I did a before versus after, and it wasn't even fully worked in when I did the after. It was good. Like, it sounded way better, it ran way better. Once it worked itself fully in, it started first kick. Like, it was way better. So I completely recommend doing an oil change often. I'm gonna do one on my dirt bike soon, and it's different. It's a different way to do it. This one has an oil filter. Mine doesn't. But I'll show you the oil change on my dirt bike. But pretty much, once you got this on, once you got all the oil in, set this aside. Make sure nothing's dripping out of the bolt down here, which it seems like it's not, so it's all sealed up. Dipstick clean. You're going to want to put it in there. There's my puppy. You're going to want to put it in there. And just seal it up, start it, run it through, and should be good. Run it for a few minutes, check the oil levels. If it needs more oil, add more, but it should be good. I'm going to run the oil through, see how it does. I'll get back to you guys in a second. Alright guys, just want to let you know that it was raining that entire time after I changed the oil. I did the oil change, and so pretty much what you do to wrap it up is you let the oil run through, and then you check the oil, make sure it's at the right, make sure the oil levels are right and all that. Yeah, I'll show you guys how to check oil another time. Anyway, it's a few days later after making the oil change video. I'm about to put a new carb on. I just put a new battery in. Needs to be charged. That's just my luck. It only gives you It only gives you a little bit of a... It only gives you a little, oomph. Alright guys, my little brother just got home. That's what that was. It's his four-wheeler. I'm fixing it for him, rebuilding it and all that. So anyway, that's it for the oil change video. What I was going to say is, I recommend you change the oil filter, but I knew that, I knew the condition of the one that was in it, even though I didn't put it in there. So I trusted it to go another oil change. But I do recommend doing that. It's just the oil wasn't changed too long ago in this, and I know for a fact it wasn't. So that's a fresh oil filter. I just didn't put it in, and I trusted it to go another oil change. I knew for a fact that the oil filter was good, and I was just changing the oil because it felt right, just to give it a fresh look on it. And it's just a wimpy little oil filter. It doesn't do too much. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please leave a like and subscribe to join Turbo Nation today. And as always, have a terrific day, guys.